Hello, hello, welcome everybody. Thanks for coming. We're going to go ahead and get started right now. We got a pretty tight schedule, so we're going to start here in another second. So thanks for joining us. Welcome. Hopefully you can find a seat. Welcome to Michigan's first net zero energy residential conference. Very excited to have this. My name is Brett Little. I'm the executive director at the nonprofit, the GreenHome Institute. We're headquartered here right in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and we're nearly coming up on 20 years. 2020, we will be a 20-year-old organization, so very exciting. We helped put this session together, and I'm going to be partially the moderator today. And then we've also had our main planning partners who actually started this process even before we came in, which is great. And so we've got the Michigan Geothermal Energy Association. I don't know, Larry, are you all right? There he is. We haven't met yet in person, so good to see you, Larry. And then we've got David with the Michigan Energy Efficiency Contractors Association. There he is, checking everybody in. And then we've got John with the Great Lakes Renewable Energy Association floating around over there. And Melanie, President, thanks. So huge thanks to them and helping really put all this together and make this a possibility here, and hoping that we can continue this. And I think that's kind of the main housekeeping item. So another huge thanks to our supporters, our main supporters, Consumers Energy. Big thanks to them in supporting this conference. Water Furnace, Al, go ahead and raise your hand. So, and then of course Founders for providing this space to us here to do this today. And then our second tier sponsors, the Michigan Energy Office, who's supporting energy efficiency efforts throughout the state. And they've got a new look, and they've got some new programs going on, so make sure to go check out what they're up to. And then GeoComfort Geothermal Systems, very thanks to their support. And then our third tier sponsors, DTE Energy, Mitsubishi Electric, and T-Stud. Big thanks to them. For those of you who need CEUs, just make sure you sign in. A survey is going to be sent to you at the end of this event, and so just make sure to take that, and then we'll get you your certificates. Also, if you are AIA members, if you can just, when you get a chance, write your AIA number down on the registration sheet. I forgot to mention that, but put that down or email it to us, and we'll make sure to get you your AIA certificate too. All right, so with that, I'm going to introduce our open plenary speaker, Tim Wright. He's the Vice President of Sales for Enertech. Enertech Global is a full-line geothermal heat pump manufacturer, marketing products under the GeoComfort, Hydron, Techco, Econair, and HydroHeat, and GeoSource brand names. Tim is serving both the Canadian and United States marketplace. And prior to Tim joining Enertech, he held the National Sales Manager position for Recycled Insulation Products Company. He's been involved in renewable and energy conservation in the industry since 1988. And over the past 28 years, he's worked closely with architects, engineers, builders, inspectors, HVAC manufacturers, distributors, dealers, and all the above. Having touched all facets of the industry gives Tim a well-rounded understanding of what is important for each sector and for our industry. Tim and his family reside in Ringgold, Georgia. And one thing I just want to preface with this is that I really appreciate about Tim and Enertech and GeoComfort and really many of the others who are involved with this is just sort of this ability to go beyond their own particular product or service that they're working on and really look at the market holistically and bring together all these ideas to really make this kind of stuff happen. And so that's one thing I've appreciated from GeoComfort and Enertech and the stuff I've seen from that. And so I just wanted to kind of put that out there. So Tim, come on up and take it away.
All right, good morning. How's everybody this morning? That's pretty good. That's pretty good for this morning. First of all, again, my name's Tim Wright. I do have the privilege of being the Vice President of Enertech, covering an awful lot of territory. So flew up here yesterday from Atlanta, back tonight. because my daughter is graduating this weekend from Liberty University out of Lynchburg, Virginia. So, yeah, it feels good. It feels good to have two girls through school and done. So, how many in the room understand how that feels? That feels good. What about what? Grad school? Nah, she's not there yet. Wedding. All right, wedding. Okay. Hey, we're going to have some fun today. I'm going to move quickly, but it is an honor and a privilege. And all of that stuff that Brett so eloquently said, all it means is I'm one of you. And I'm here today because of you. And all of us, we're going to make this better together. And I just ask, and that's my challenge today, is that you continue on doing what you're doing because this is the pace setting group. So that's one thing that I'll be able to share, just a few points. So when I say change has arrived, just stick with me. You'll understand what I mean. But if you take a look at what's happening in our industry, and I understand that, yes, we're in Michigan right now. I know exactly where I am. But I also have the opportunity and privilege of going across the country and seeing what's happening in California, seeing what's happening in New York, in Sweden, places like that, all over this world. And I'm telling you, this group is on the right track. Don't quit. Don't stop doing what you're doing because there's so many that are catching up, trying to catch up with what we're trying to do. So when we talk about how in the world do we continue to help homeowners, to help business owners be able to truly understand how to make their buildings right, how to build them properly, this group gets it. So let's just spend a little time on that and then talk about getting to net zero faster. How do we do that? So I think you're going to have a plethora of great speakers today that will help all of us understand. And this is an incredible networking opportunity. So please take advantage of meeting people that you've never shaken their hand before. That's all about what's going to happen today. Ultimately, what's it better for? Sell more properties, sell more jobs, be able to make sure that we get to help people along the way. And that's step 4. When you give people what they want, you'll eventually get what you want. Always start with a servanthood first. How can I help? How can I serve? And then I'm promising you, it's the right thing to do. So we can all look around here and say, boy, I think I've got some competition in this room. No, you don't. This is the group that's actually starting to branch out to everybody else. Same thing with us. Whether it's geothermal, whether it's air source, whether it's mini split, whether it's whatever, beneficial electrification. I'm just encouraging you to hold on to that word. Beneficial electrification is coming. So let's just take a little tour together. So if you're talking about natural gas or if you're talking about electricity, all I'm saying is if I could just gather this group in my collective arms and drop you in Westchester, New York right now. Does anybody know what's happening in Westchester, New York right now? Okay, I'll help. Gas moratorium. Have you ever heard of a gas moratorium? All right, maybe not here yet, but I can tell you that as of May the 15th, the gas company, which is also the electric company, so such as a consumers, such as a DTE, all of a sudden said, no more natural gas. So you as a builder walking into the permit department, you wouldn't get a natural gas permit. You wouldn't get a permit. And what they're saying is you now have to use electro technologies. Now, there may be some people in the room that just freaks out. Think about it as a builder, as a developer, as a real estate person. That's all you've known. And now they're saying pick an electro technology. That's happening today. So the point that I'm just trying to make here, that's coming. Since I first heard about this 3 months ago, now all of a sudden it's in New Jersey. It's in 5 other places in New York. It's now in Pennsylvania. I'm just giving you forewarning, sooner than later, you will hear the term gas moratorium. Be ready. So I'm trying to just give you a little anecdotal evidence of what's taking place in other places, okay? Oh, I'm getting a thumbs up. Are you like that? Is that okay? All right. And again, I'm sorry, please. I'm not anti-gas, but I'm just giving you the perspective of outside of Michigan, outside of the United States. Anybody take a guess what the heat pump, not geothermal, but what heat pump market share is in Sweden? Come on, give me some guesses. Higher. Somebody say 90? 80. Okay, think about that. Yes, I realize Sweden's not United States. I get it. But 80% market share. Anybody want to take a guess what the market share is for geothermal? Geothermal in the US market share. Take a guess. Very good. 1. It's actually arguably 1. And that's looking at geothermal and water source heat pumps, which if you look around this beautiful city, there's a lot of water source heat pumps too. But if you add in air source, it's still significantly less than 12%. So we got a long way to go. Beneficial electrification. It's coming. So just please be prepared. And here, all of a sudden, look at that last one, White Plains, the mayor, all of a sudden saying, I've been pleasantly surprised that since we first heard about this impact, it's not what I had feared. Why? Because the industry, the market responded. You folks, like you folks, responded, hey, we've got air source, we've got geothermal. The world's not over. It's okay. So I'm just saying, please prepare yourself. All right, now let's just take a look. Let's take a step back. We're now outside of Michigan. Now we're looking at the total US. And can I just say this? I'm not going to make a political statement, but irregardless of where our president lies on coal, this is what the industry's doing. Do you see exactly what's happened? So through the years, from 1950 all the way through, you've had darn near a 30% market share difference between coal in generation and natural gas. Look what happened. What happened in 2016? They crossed for the first time. So stick with me. If all of a sudden we are going to retire coal everywhere, and that is going to go to natural gas for generation, what do you believe is going to happen to the natural gas pricing? Thank you. Somebody said go up. That's pure speculation on my part. But my point is, it's economics 101, supply and demand. You with me? That's what's going to happen. So when we take a look at this, I like it. If we're going to do it, fine, do it there. But please stop overlooking solar. Stop overlooking wind. Stop overlooking geothermal. This is the group that can help lead that charge. So I'm excited about this today. Brett, thank you. If you can't tell, I'm excited about this. So stick with me. So let's take a look. You know what's going on with Detroit Edison, retiring coal. What does it say in that second paragraph? 11 out of 17 will be gone, decommissioned by 2023. Consumers, Patty's got a nice video out there. Anybody seen that video? What's it say? Zero coal. Zero coal. And they're heading toward reducing carbon emissions by 80% 2040. You say, Tim, that's a long way off. Does anybody realize that time flies? Am I the only one? Seriously. 2040? How many years from now? 21. How fast does 21 go? I've got a 26 and 22-year-old. That's how fast it goes. So all I'm saying is we are headed the right direction. I like where we're going. There's some bumps in the road. If they're going to do that with natural gas, my point is, let's just do it at that generation level, not on site. That's my challenge, if you'll allow me to have that challenge. Beneficial electrification. So let's take a look. How do we close more sales? I don't know that it can be any more clear than comfort, safety, affordability, healthy, and verified. This group knows how to do it. So my charge is, how do we do that? You start with obviously the right orientation. Which way to face that structure? Don't you? That's the biggest step one. Face it the right way. Take full advantage of what you're trying to do with that site. Then insulation, air barriers, air source heat pump, geothermal, variable speed. Why? Because it starts to matter, doesn't it, with solar? And it becomes even more of an impact when you're going to talk about batteries. when you're going to talk about storage. Has anybody heard a company called Sonnen? Anybody heard of Sonnen? Who just bought them? Come on, somebody's got to know. Who bought them? Shell. Anybody heard of Shell? Shell started a new company called Shell Energies. They are on the move. Their claim, you can research this yourself, their claim, they will be the #1 utility within 20 years. That's a pretty bold statement. I'm just saying, we've even got people in this room today, battery storage. Look them up. Please find time to make sure we look at this holistically. PV, solar, energy storage. So again, I'm going to try to be quick here. You probably know this, but in my 30 years with blower door testing, with looking at different insulation products, this is what I found. I have a preference towards cellulose as well as foam. It is all about air infiltration. How much on average, if you just concern yourself with air infiltration, how much can you drop a heating and cooling load typically? 30%, I hear? Absolutely. I've heard sometimes as high as 50, depending on what you're really trying to take a look at. So how does that impact? All of a sudden, that impacts significantly because now we're talking about the HVAC system size. And then if we can reduce the HVAC system size, whether it's air source, geothermal, now what happens to the installation cost? It's reduced significantly. Your best money spent on any project is air sealing in infiltration. Yes, a geothermal manufacturer is telling you your best money spent is air infiltration and air sealing. That is only going to complement everything else we do together. Okay? Thank you very, very much for allowing me to do this. Now, if we talk about loads, what do I say? Trust but verify. Again, I may be preaching to the choir, but thank you very, very much for the verification. Trust that you're getting a great product, whether it's insulation, whether it's HVAC, but it's always best to verify so that you know exactly how that system's going to perform, especially when you're making claims to your building owners or your homeowners. Everybody in the HVAC industry have modeling software. I'm encouraging you to reach back to your manufacturers, whoever you choose to use, have them do that modeling software. It's all there for you. And when I say modeling, I'm talking about it's taking all your specific parameters on your home, your kilowatt hour rate, or your CCF rate, your air infiltration rate. It gets that specific. So make sure that you're utilizing that, please. So if we talk about geothermal just for a moment, and then I'll get off my stump. Obviously, over the past 30 years, this is how I've fed my family. This is how I've put 2 girls through college. It's electro technologies. And I say that because it's just an incredible way to heat and cool. And what's the other thing? After heating and cooling, what comes right after that with energy usage? Good job. Hot water. A lot of times that gets overlooked. So with geothermal, you have that advantage of preheating your hot water. I think we also have, is it Ream in the room? Hot water heat pump? Fantastic. Fantastic product. I would encourage all of you to take a hard look at that. And I'll share some numbers why later on. But definitely the most comfortable, the most energy efficient. And this is a project, Brett, I know you know quite well, but the Living Building Home. This is over in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And just taking a look, if I can, humor me just for a few moments, but we've got about 5,000 square feet. If you see the heating and cooling and hot water costs down in the bottom left-hand corner, would anybody be okay with $543 for 5,000 square feet? Oh, by the way, let me back up. During the required 12-month audit, the house generated 20,270 kilowatt hours. How much did they use? 15. So they actually over-generated. with their solar. So did it really cost $543? Not at all. It's called credit. I would like to open that utility bill and see that credit being applied. How about that? Now that is somebody that took this very, very seriously, from orientation, from insulation, from HVAC. That also has a hot water heat pump on it, and the desuperheater with the geothermal system. So the best of both worlds. Closed loop application, so it's going to be there forever and ever. What I love about this is a 15-acre facility, home. And read that bottom caption just where it starts off, Beacon Springs Farm. They're also growing food. What are they doing with it? Food gatherers, Hope Clinic, to provide fresh food for those who can't afford it. Is that somebody that's selfish? That's somebody that absolutely gets it. I'm going to do what I know is right for the environment. I'm going to do what I know is right for my family. And then I'm also going to help other people. I don't know of a better way to just end my little chat with you, is that's what you're doing today. You're not doing what you're doing because you're here selfishly. Yes, we all have to make money. We all have to provide for our families. But why are you doing what you're doing? Why is it already happening in other places around the world as quickly as what it's doing right here? It's because collective groups of people come together and care about something greater. That's exactly what this is. And you could start to see and go, oh my goodness, look at the roof, look at their R values. Yes, they went all out. That's how you get a surplus. And then the ResNet HERS rating, that's ridiculous. That's just amazing what they've been able to do. So that's my encouragement today, is when we're going to connect the dots, you know all of the steps necessary to have a successful outcome. And the one encouragement that I leave you with is successful outcomes when you are thinking of somebody else more than yourself. That's word of mouth. That's future business. And it's also doing the right thing for that customer that you're working for. That's why I think you're here today. I believe that you'll get a ton of great information today. I'm here. Al Waller works for Water Furnace. You could call us competitors. I don't look at it as competitors. I look at it as we've got a lot of work to do all across this great state. And that's what it's all about. It's all about coming together. If everybody in the room said, I'm going geothermal, we may not be able to handle it all. I don't know what you're working on, but I know another great company that can help. Got a lot of great manufacturers in the room and representatives of the company. And what do we want to get? All the way to that last point in the bottom right, mass adoption. It's best for our country. It's best for families. Who wouldn't want to have a surplus and not pay, is anybody from Detroit Edison or Consumers Energy here, and not have a utility bill? Hello. I'm glad you joined us today. But the point is, let me just say this, it's called energy independence. Energy independence should be something that we all crave for, should be something that we are ready for. So that's my encouragement. So with that, I'm going to close. And Brett, I know I have questions, but we can do that later today. And I'm a little ahead of schedule, which I think we'll all appreciate later on. Thank you very, very much, Brett. Okay. Okay. So if you do have questions, let's just keep it to 5 minutes or less. Yeah. Back, anybody? I thought I saw a hand. Not Consumers Energy, please. Oh, DTE. Yeah, go ahead.
I was wondering what battery manufacturers are you working with? I got a shamelessly plug. I've been working on recycled laptop batteries for off-grid the last 4 years, and I have the first model here, created 2 days ago. So these options are about to explode. So I'm wondering who you're working with on battery front. I know LG Chem's really pushing the envelope here in Michigan, but
Yeah, no, good question. First of all, we're a geothermal heating and cooling manufacturer. We also started a year and a half ago to sell solar throughout the Midwest, more in Illinois because of what they have, the SREC credit program. So not only do you get the 30% federal, now you get another 25 or 30%. Right back to you immediately. It's just a no-brainer to do solar in Illinois right now. Batteries, we're just starting to explore that now. I only mentioned a few, but I think we've got some other ones in the room. So Brett, I think if we could cover that later, I'm going to back off that question, but it will be addressed today. Okay, fair enough? Larry, yes, sir.
So just to be fair to the utilities, Trevor Lauer just last year put geothermal in his brand new house.
Trevor Lauer is the
president of DTE Energy. So he has geothermal, he's a supporter. And when Patty Poppy used to work at DTE, I worked with her on projects to put geothermal in the Nubian Mansion in Detroit. So both of them support energy efficiency and reduction, so I don't want to leave a bad impression that they're not behind these kind of things.
Thank you, Larry. DTE consumers can move into the electric car vehicle market because we want to electrify all the cars. So that would be an opportunity for utilities to grow and expand, even as they might lose a little bit of market share with homes and small businesses.
Right on. And if I may share, if you want to Google what's happening in New York, where does that start? Governor Cuomo. Where does that move to? Public Service Commission. Then down to NYSERDA. Then down to the utilities. They are all in it together. And my hope and prayer would be that Michigan does the same thing. But Larry, thank you very much.
They both very supportive of it.
Awesome.
Certain things they're not as good as they should be, but they are supportive in general as energy optimization very much.
Beautiful. That's what we need. We need the utilities to be very supportive toward that. And then also another big thing that will come along with that is how they look at rates, how you spend your money, with it being demand or kilowatt hour. Yeah.
Energy just announced they're going to have price increases from the time of 2 o'clock to 7 o'clock during the day because that's a high peak demand. And sometimes geothermal cuts 0.6 kilowatts per turn of air conditioning to offset those high peak demand.
Definitely helps, but I want to make sure that we stay on task with we need the utilities support. And they're here. Thank you very, very much for being here. That's awesome. This group cannot do it without strong utility support. We had a question.
Yeah, I'm just curious how you see the efficiency coefficient of performance between the air source heat pumps and geo. Do you track that? Ground source versus air source?
We do track that, and in the HVAC, I'll address that specifically. I do want to just stand on the ground of we're here together collectively, but I will share some numbers on where I believe geothermal truly makes a huge difference, and that is when you need it the most, wintertime, summertime, it does an incredible job on COP or performance when you look at outdoor temperatures and what's happening. I'll address that specifically. Thank you. Good question. Okay, Brett, I'm going to cut it off and then 5 minutes early. Thank you, everybody. I've enjoyed being here. I'll be here all day.